Today we're going to talk about factoring polynomials. Now you should recall factoring from Algebra 1, so we'll use a lot of the same skills. If you remember last week we did Kahoot, we did some factoring there. And Katie's pushing her nose up like, I don't like doing that. Okay, factoring. Now really factors just means we're breaking it down to what multiplies. So if I give you like the number 15, what are the factors of 15?
3 and 5.
Like it's 3 and 5, right? 3 times 5 is 15. Everybody agrees with that. We're like, whew, good. But what if I give you a problem like this? X squared plus 6x plus 8. And I said we have to factor that. Well, when we talk about factoring, we're talking about what multiplies to get 8 and adds to get 6. Yes?
Well, I know my son taught like some of her students like this.
So yeah, what multiplies to get 8, adds to get 6? 4 and 2. So I'm breaking it down, I'm going to have x plus 4 and x plus 2. And that's how I'd break it down. So x plus 4 and x plus 2. Yeah. Now, here's the problems that we're going to see a lot of today. I'm going to see a lot of problems like this. X squared minus 9. Well, this is what's called a difference of squares. Okay? Because it's really like saying x squared plus 0x minus 9. So you have to think of two numbers that multiply to get negative 9 but add to get 0. Somebody said it. Yeah, 3 and negative 3. So it's really going to say like x plus 3 and x minus 3. Now it's called a difference of squares because it's like saying the square root of 9, but it's positive and negative. So it's a difference of squares. That's where that comes from. You'll see a lot of those today. All right, but we're talking about factoring polynomials, and you have to know some of this basic factoring to get us going. All right, so here's what we're looking at. Factoring polynomials. Sometimes you can use grouping, which is what we're going to use, to factor a third-degree polynomial. To factor by grouping means to group terms with common factors, then factor the common factors. Continue to factor until the expression can no longer be factored. You're going to start by grouping terms to factor out the greatest possible power of x. Now, if you look at it here, this is kind of the process we're going to use today. Now, if you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of work. You'll see it's not that bad after you look at it, okay? Notice this first one here. Does everybody recognize that's in standard form? Why is it in standard form? Or how do you know it's in standard form? Let's put it that way. Highest exponent on down, right? I have x cubed, x squared, x constant term. So I'm going to start off by grouping them. So I have my two left ones together, and then I have my two right ones together. I'm going to group them. Now, the idea behind grouping them is I want to now undistribute. So I want to see what does the first group have in common that I can pull out or that I can undistribute out. So as I look at that first one, x cubed plus 4x squared, what do they both have in common that I can pull out? Well, they have an x squared in common. So I'm going to undistribute an x squared, leaving me with x plus 4. Does everybody see how I get that? If I were to undistribute that? Now I'm going to do the right side. Well, I have negative 9x minus 36. Notice they don't have, like the second one doesn't have an x, so I can't pull an x out. So I'm just looking for a number. What's the number they can both come out? Well, I'm going to pull a negative 9 out. Okay, I'm going to pull a negative 9 out, which leaves me with x plus 4. This right here is a self-check point. Does everybody see what's underlined there? X plus 4 and x plus 4? That has to be the same. If it's not the same, I can't go further. For instance, like up here, back at this step right here, some people might say, well, I'm just going to pull a 9 out. Well, if I pull a 9 now, I have negative x minus 4. Would that be the same now? No, so I have to pull that negative 9 out, making sure that it is the same. Okay? Now, if you look here, x plus 4 and x plus 4, that comes down here. The x squared minus 9, that comes here. And now I do the difference of squares. So I think of it as x squared plus 0x minus 9. What multiplies to get negative 9 adds to get 0. 3 and negative 3. So I have x plus 4, x plus 3, x minus 3. And that is how I would factor it all the way down. So again, I'm factoring it down to its smallest form, basically. All right. And yeah, that's pretty much the problems we're going to be looking at today. So if you notice, nothing bigger than like 2x squared and those type of, or 2x cubed, those type of problems. So you should be pretty good on those. Let's try number 1 here. Now it's kind of set up for us already. I have x cubed minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 12. Okay. Notice I grouped them. I put the left ones together and then the right ones together. Does everybody see that? So I grouped them. I have x cubed minus 3x squared, then negative 4x plus 12. Now, what comes out of the left side? An x squared. An x squared comes out of both of those. Does everybody see that? What comes out of the right side? A negative 4. Which leaves me with x minus 3 and x minus 3. Notice, do you see how those are the same? They have to be the same there. So now I'm going to bring those two down to give me x minus 3. And then my leftover parts come down after that. So I get x squared minus 4. So it's x minus 3 and x squared minus 4. Now I want to do my difference of squares here. What's going to multiply to get negative 4 but add to get 0? What'd you say? 2 and negative 2, right? 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. 2 plus negative 2 is 0. So my answer is going to be x minus 3, x plus 2, and x minus 2. There it is right there. So as you look at this, is this really that bad? Oh, it's worse, Joe. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's try number 2 here. So a little less work shown this time. I have x cubed plus 6x squared minus x minus 6. Notice, I grouped them, so I put the left two together, then I put the right two together. On the left side, x cubed plus 6x squared. What can come out of both of those? An x what? An x squared, right? So that's going to leave me with x plus 6. And now the right side, what's going to come out of negative x minus 6? Is there anything that they really have in common? Can I pull a negative 1 out? I'd want to pull a negative 1 out. Why do I want to pull a negative 1 out? Because that leaves me with x plus 6, which then again, my parentheses, see that? They would then be the same. And again, my goal is to always get those parentheses to be the same. So I'm going to bring that down. So I have x plus 6, x squared minus 1. Now I have a difference of squares here. What's going to multiply to get negative 1, add to get 0? What'd you say? 1 and negative 1, right? So I'm going to get x plus 6, x plus 1, and, x minus 1. And there's your answer right there. Let's try number 3. So x cubed plus x squared minus 9x minus 9. So the first thing I want to do is I want to group them. So I have the left side and I have the right side. So what can come out of the left side where they both have in common that I can pull out? An x squared. Now that's going to leave me what on the inside? X plus 1. I need that space order of a 1 there. Why would it not be 0? Because if I multiply by 0, what do I get? 0. So it has to be a 1 there, right? Now the right side, what's going to come out of negative 9x minus 9 where they both have in common? Negative what?
Negative 9.
Negative 9. Now that leaves me with x plus 1. So x squared, parentheses, x plus 1 minus 9, parentheses, x plus 1. Are my parentheses the same? So that comes down. That gives me x plus 1. X squared minus 9 comes down after that. Now I have a difference of squares here. What's going to multiply to get negative 9? Add to get 0. 3 and negative 3. So I'm going to get x plus 1, x plus 3, and x minus 3. There we go. How are we doing, Katie? Got this down? Good. Let's try number 4. Take a couple seconds. Try number 4 on your own. All right, so let's walk through this here. First thing you want to do is you want to group them. Pull out the left side, pull out an x squared, which gives you x plus 2. On the right side, pull out negative 16, giving me x plus 2. My parentheses are the same, so that comes down here, x plus 2. And then my leftovers, x squared minus 16. Now I got a difference of squares. Answer, x plus 2, x plus 4, and x minus 4. Nice job. Try number 5 on your own. And if you look at number 5, am I dealing with a cubic term here? I'm dealing with a quadratic term. So it's actually less work because I'm not going to have 3 terms. So take a couple seconds, try this one on your own. All right, let's walk through this here. When I group it, I have left side, right side. I pull a 2x out of the left side, leaving me with x plus 4. And I pull a 2 out of the right side, leave me with x plus 4. X plus 4 comes down.
X plus 4.
And then if you notice here, 2x plus 2, that comes down here as well. Now most of you might have stopped here. Oh,
I didn't.
and that's fine.
Against 10th graders.
Next here, okay, so some of you might have stopped there, but if you look at it here, 2x plus 2, what can actually come out of that as well?
An X or
2. So really my answer could be here 2 parentheses x plus 4 and then x plus 1. Man, it's going slow again. Okay, that could be your answer right there. But again, if you left it right here, you're fine. This is the best answer down here though. All right?
I think the best answer is no answer.
Try number 6. Take a couple seconds, try number 6 on your own. Same thing. All right, Katie, what did you do here? Regrouped them first. Awesome. Then what did you do next, Katie?
Took out x squared from the first one, and then parentheses x plus 2.
Okay.
And then took negative 1 out of the second one, and then x plus 2.
Awesome. Then what did you do, Katie?
Brought x plus 2 down, and then grouped x squared minus 1.
I just want to hear.
Awesome. Then what did you do, Katie?
And then I brought x plus 2 down, and then I got x plus 1 and x minus 1.
Nice job. Because this is a difference of squares where you get 1 and negative 1. So there's your answer right down at the bottom. Nice job.
Is that you?
Try number 7. I think this is the last one. Take up seconds, try this one on your own. So let's go to number 7. Beast, talk me through it, bud. What'd you do? Okay.
That's like x squared x minus 2.
Awesome.
And then you pull out negative 4. And you get x minus 2.
Great.
It's x minus 2. X squared minus 4. And then it's x minus 2. Like 2.
Nice job. That is a correct answer right there. Good work, Beast. And here's your assignment.